We are so excited to launch CTE Fridays with you. So this will happen the second Friday of every month. And the goal is really so that students and teachers and all of us in the career readiness team can learn about all the different careers that are available to us, how to prepare for those careers, and really connect with professionals in different industries to help us build our social network and capital. So I'm really excited to have everyone here. The first thing we're going to do is really take a poll as to kind of where everyone is in terms of their planning for after high school. So if you're on your laptop, what you can do is open a new tab. If you are on your phone, you could open a new screen. All you young people should know how to do this better than I do at the moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a link in the chat to take you to the Mentee Poll. And so the poll is really going to ask you a question, really, what are your plans after high school? I know some of you are planning to go to college. Some of you might be planning to go to high school. Some of you might not have a plan as of yet. I know when I was getting ready to graduate or close to getting ready to graduate, I did not have a plan. My parents had a plan for me, and that's the plan that I followed. But some of you may already have a plan, and you really just might need direction to get there. So in the chat, I put the link. If you don't mind going to that link and answering the question, you can choose multiple questions. You might have a plan to go to college, but you're still not sure what you might want to pursue, or you might have a plan for like what your career is, but you're still thinking through how to get there. So there are different options. So in a second, I'm going to share my screen and hopefully we'll see some of those results come in. Hold on one second. And so right now, 64% of our amazing CTE students that are on the call, or actually 61% now are saying they're planning to go to college. 33% are planning to go right to work, and 6% currently do not have a plan. The 6%, that's kind of where I was when I was in high school, so I totally understand. And the amazing thing about our team is that whether you're planning to go to college or whether you're planning to go directly into work, our goal is to support you in that journey. We all know that regardless of college or work, everyone needs to be prepared for a career because even college is going to take us to a career. So excited to see these numbers, and thank you for participating. And I'm going to turn it over to our amazing Shanae.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. My name is Shanae Fant. I am a CTE manager. Of course, CTE stands for College Career Technical Education. We work within the College and Career Readiness Office, and I'm super excited to moderate today. As you guys are coming in, please know that today is going to be a wealth of knowledge for you, and I'm excited. In a second, I am going to introduce our panelists. I am going to do my very best to phonetically pronounce everybody's names. Please forgive me in advance if, in fact, I do not pronounce them correctly. But I'm super excited. As soon as I get the nod from our Adenike, I would love to begin.
You have the nod, Shanae. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. In the interest of time, I am going to introduce our panelists by name. And as I introduce you, please come in, explain your role, your responsibilities, and the organization you work for, after which time we're going to dig right into the questions because I know our students are super excited to get this wealth of knowledge from you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Roland Selby. I'm the Vice President for Strategic Partnerships with InPower, which is a national nonprofit workforce development organization. We focus on tech jobs and tech adjacent jobs. And my role is to raise awareness, raise funds, and recruit new participants.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, so it looks like Talaya is now available. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Talaya Butler. I'm currently working at MedStar Health in the customer service department. It's kind of exciting.
Thank you so much. I would love to introduce Greg Couturier.
Good morning, Shanae. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. My name is Greg Couturier. I'm the Participant Support Coordinator with the Grads to Careers program, and I'm based out of the College and Career Readiness office. So I actually sit across the room from Shanae. And the Grads to Careers program is basically a program that's designed to offer free career training options after high school. So for recent high school graduates. So my job as a Participant Support Coordinator is really just to talk to students and coach students into those programs and to be a support and an advocate as you go through those programs. So I'm happy to talk later about some more of the logistics, but I'm excited to be here. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Greg. I would love to introduce Marvin McKinstry.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Marvin McKinstry, and I'm an employment services specialist with the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, and I'm primarily located at the fabulous West Baltimore, which is West Baltimore Yo Center, which is the Youth Opportunity Center. And my primary focus is employment. I place over 250 young people in jobs annually, and most of them are young people who didn't have either the means or even some cases the desire to go to college. They right out of high school. Some of them didn't even graduate. I've had the pleasure of working with Roland, and we had some fantastic stories that we can tell about some Empower graduates that came right from our center. So we work with 18 to 24-year-old Baltimore City residents, and my primary goal in the center is to make sure that they become gainfully employed.
Thank you so much. I would love to introduce Lieutenant Erica Carrington.
Hello, everyone. I am Lieutenant Junior Grade Erica Carrington. I am a graduate of Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I'm from West Baltimore. I'm also a graduate of the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University. I am a Coast Guard active duty officer. My ribbon's my name. But I started in boot camp here at Trace and Cape May. And now I'm back in charge of the training of all the recruits that join the Coast Guard. I'm also an assistant with minority recruitment and telling you guys the opportunities you have after high school or getting into college with scholarship opportunities.
Thank you so much. I would also like to introduce my good friend, Angela Carrington.
Hey. Good morning, Shanae. You're just as wonderful and beautiful as ever. How's everyone? For the district, I've been a financial project manager for them. I have done everything from training and development, financial management. I am a Black girl that codes. Not only do I have a degree in accounting, I also I've built several applications, both for Baltimore City Public Schools and for the Hubble Space Telescope. I still work very close with them on volunteering basis to do the Girls in Science program, as well as the Young Men, Fathers and Sons Come into Science, right around the corner at Johns Hopkins at the San Martin Drive location. So I am absolutely wonderful to be here with all of you. I will support you guys in anything you do, Shanae. You know you have me.
Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, I would like to introduce Nigel Garcia.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Nigel. I work for Baltimore Corps. I am the Deputy Director of Community Engagement and Recruitment. And what we do is two things. We find social impact jobs, either internships or full-blown jobs for leaders in Baltimore. And then we also support small business owners and encourage entrepreneurship among Black people and people of color in Baltimore. So we have quite a few exciting programs, and I'm happy to talk and be here with everyone else today.
Excellent. And then I also want to round it out by telling you a little bit about what I do. I work in the Office of CTE. I support our career pathways. I specifically work with our Academy of Health Professions, our cosmetology and cosmetic services, our culinary arts and commercial baking programs, our Teacher Academy of Maryland, and our fashion design. However, CTE spans many different pathways, and I'm excited to be before you today to tell you about these wonderful representatives. So I'm a former English teacher. I taught English for 16 years, and I know that between myself and our panelists, we're probably quite loquacious and gregarious, which means we speak a lot. So I'm going to ask in advance that we try to limit our responses so that we can get just a full wealth of knowledge from everybody. So I'm going to ask the very first question, which is the question that I'm sure most of our students want to know, and that is, how did your career path become more clear during your adolescent years? And I'm going to start from what appears on my screen, which is on the top left, which is Greg.
Oh, that's a tough question. I'll be really brief. But basically, my career path, mentors that I had in my life. I had a couple good coaches. I was a football player in high school. And so some of the coaches in high school and football And then a lot of the professors I encountered in college, really just watching what they were doing and hearing about their experiences really made me want to work with people and become a social worker.
Thank you. Angela?
Mute. Well, mine was a little different. Coming from, I was born and raised in Baltimore, so I stumbled into mine because I stayed after school a lot, so I would have some place to go. And my science teacher, she was the one that allowed me to stay after. And from there, at Pimlico Junior High, I won the science fair, and that started all my interest in science, my interest in tech, my interest in data, to be honest with you, because all of it comes down to the data, and it has changed and evolved over the years. And now with my project management, I'm taking data from accounting and computer science and taking it to another digital level, and I like it.
Thank you so much. We're going to have Talaya and then followed right by Roland.
Okay, so I still don't know my career path. I know where I am now in life, but this isn't it for me. I'm just starting. My foot has just gotten in the door last year. So it's always room for improvement, and I want to keep moving forward and keep growing.
Thank you. Roland?
So I stumbled into my career path as well. When I was a student at Poly, I started working at a catering firm called The Forum on Primrose, and it was a service job. You know, I was a busboy, and so I developed the skills of serving others. So I've carried that through other jobs. But the one thing I'll always remember is even when you think no one's watching, someone is. So if you go about your job in excellence and you do everything in excellence and you have a passion for it, someone's watching that may be able to open the door and be a champion for you. And that's how my career started, because people always open the door for me because they saw the product of my work.
Excellent. Thank you. We're going to have Marvin and then shoot over to Lieutenant Erica.
Mine is a very unconventional path. Going into the 11th grade, I made a really poor choice and I went to adult prison. And when I came out of adult prison, I went into a service organization that was in my community looking for help. And part of the program was doing some internship oriented work where they could pay me a wage inside the program. And when they gave me that opportunity, there were things in me that they knew was there that I didn't know was there. And literally, at that point, I found myself working in human services and haven't done anything since. Because God gave me that opportunity, I made myself a sponge. I took time to learn everything that I could. And it's thrusted me to be one of the top people in my field as it pertains to job development and job placement. So very unconventional path. Second chance, very proud that I took the advantage of my second chance, and it seated me in a place to be able to help a lot of people who also need a second chance in a lot of cases.
Lieutenant Carrington.
Hey everyone, so my path to trying to figure out what career I wanted, my favorite show as growing up was A Different World. It was like, and I was like, wow, all of these African Americans are at a college. What type of colleges are these? So I started Googling HBCUs, and I knew for a fact that's where I wanted to go. Didn't matter which one. I had a swim scholarship. I swam at A&T, so I had a partial there. So it made sense money-wise and financially. I joined the Coast Guard so that I could have more opportunities after graduating, and it helped financially. They're going to pay for my grad school. So I thought it would be a great way for my mom not to be stuck with all of my college debt from undergrad. And I decided to join and boost my career from there.
Thank you, Nigel.
Hi, actually, my career path that got me here was I didn't know what I wanted to do up until like my late 20s, and I had to really reflect and think about my family structure, all the things that I valued, right? So from a youth, I valued service, I valued community, I valued working in teams with others, and that's what kind of at 27 was like, okay, you need to go and work in the nonprofit sector. You need to go and work for the betterment of your community. So it took a long road of real self-reflection to get here.
Thank you for sharing that, because sometimes we don't necessarily take a conventional road. I would love to introduce our director, Mr. Kumasi Vines, who's going to tell us a little bit about himself, what he does, and he can also share with us his career path.
Right. Good morning. Thank you, Cindy. My name is Kumasi Vines, and I am the Director for Career Readiness for Baltimore City Public Schools. And our job is, Shanae and Adenike has mentioned, is to make sure that we're preparing our students as much as possible to be prepared to enter the workforce, go to college. But at the end of the day, we just want to make sure our students have the skills and training they need to launch their careers when they leave us from Baltimore City Public Schools. I'm listening to everyone's stories, and it's bringing back a lot of memories. I'm from West Baltimore, so I love the West Baltimore representation, and I grew up blocks away from your West Baltimore. I used to go there when where it used to be located on Lafayette and not too far from the Harlem Park Elementary School, which is where I went. So what got me to my career path? Very, very different type of journey. But really it sparked from I had a lot of caring adults in my community, that people that really just took an interest in me when I was a child and just wanted to make sure that I was successful. And that included, a very caring mom and, looking up to my older brother who was at JROTC at Edmondson Westside. And I looked at where we were living and how we were living and how hard my mom was working. So as I would watch TV, I just want to take care of my mama. That's what I wanted to do. I just want to take care of my mama and take care of my family and make sure that we made it out okay. So she really instilled in me that education was the key, because I wasn't very short and my jump shot was not nice. So I knew that the school was going to be my direction. So a bachelor's degree, 2 master's degree later, I am here, which is really a culmination of a lot of my industry experiences and just my desire to provide as many opportunities and options for our students that come from my neighborhood, from my city, and just do the best I can and do my part in this whole journey of our students. Because I was and am one of the students and one of the members of this beautiful Baltimore community, and I just want to contribute my part. And really quickly, I just want to thank all the panelists and all the families and students that are a part of this. I want to highlight how important it is that, our students know that we care about them. Everyone on this call, everyone on this panel, we really care about you. We want to see you successful because, quite frankly, you're going to be our future employees, future bosses, future leaders of our community. And we want to do everything we can to help you get to that path, whether it's going directly into the workforce at the high school, whether it's going to a 2-4-year college, going to the military. We are here for you, and I hope you understand this is a representation of how much we care for you and wanted to see you succeed. So I'll stop. I'll get off my preacher's pulpit right there, and I'll hand it back over to Shanae. But thank you all for joining us this morning.
Thank you, guys. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that I am not from Baltimore, Maryland. I am from South Jamaica, Queens, which is the inner city in New York. I grew up in what most people would consider a pretty rough neighborhood. So I'm very excited to be before you today. And I did not have the traditional path either. I wasn't college bound my entire high schooling. In fact, it wasn't until maybe April of my senior year of high school that I even decided that college was an option for me. I went on a historically Black college tour. I graduated high school in 1997. That was right around the time when Minister Louis Farrakhan sent the Black men in our community out and told them they had to go back into the communities and make a difference. There was a Million Man March Committee. They worked with the inner city youth, and they put on this historically Black college tour. It started in Pennsylvania and then went all the way down to Atlanta, Georgia. And I have an identical twin sister, and my mother couldn't afford for us to go. And they said, you know what, we want the twins to go. They paid for us to go. Back in 97, it was $400. That was like so much money back then. It was so much money, and it was 2 of us. It was $800 plus the cost of food. We couldn't go. The men, they pooled their resources together. They paid for us to go, and that trip changed my life. The very first stop coming from New York was Lincoln University, the Lincoln University of Pennsylvania, America's oldest and first historically Black college. When we got there, I was in love. I had never, I mean, coming from the city in New York, I mean, you guys are blessed. In Maryland, you guys get a chance to see Morgan. You get a chance to see Coppin. Eastern Shore is not too far. Bowie is right up the street. You get to see college life. We don't see that in New York. So being on that college campus, I said to myself, oh, this is where I need to be. We got interviews on the spot. All of the students who were there, they waived our application fee for us. And that was big for us because we didn't have the money. And that trip changed my life. I applied, I got accepted. And from that moment forward, I just was like LU bound. So I just want to ask this question. I want to know, what are some of the, because we're sitting pretty, we're on this Zoom, we looking mighty fancy. Some of us got cute backgrounds. And so it might look like we have it all together. I'm going to ask you guys to share with our students, what personal challenges or circumstances did you have to overcome to specifically achieve the professional pursuits that you're in now? And I'm going to shake the order up a little bit, and I'm going to start with Roland, and then I'm going to hit it back to Marvin.
Wow, thanks. That's a great question, Shanae. I'm going to say that my biggest challenge, I had to get out of my own way. As an adolescent, sometimes you're impulsive, you know everything, and I would get instruction and guidance from my parents, but I wanted to do things my way, or I just was cavalier. So I had to learn to grow up. And when I was at Morgan State University, I had a professor that invested in me, and he pulled me aside and he gave me some strong words. And he was like, you got the potential, but you got to step into your potential. And that woke me up. And so that was kind of the catalyst. It's important to have people around you in your orbit that take the time to invest in you and call things out. And you got to be humble enough, or grow to be humble enough to accept it and realize that people aren't coming for you. It's not shade, it's that they really care. They see something in you that you may not know is there. But once that plant starts to germinate and that seed blossoms, you become a different person. So personally, I had to overcome my own challenges, and I had to mature and be ready to step into for the next level.
The sentiment is the same. You know, coming out of prison specifically, a wonderful young lady named Brenda Sierra, who is still a huge part of my life, literally saw things in me that I didn't think was there. My own self-esteem, the idea that with a record, the only kind of job I'd be able to get is this, or the only thing I'd be able to do is that, was kind of a lot of what was in my way. But being pushed by her and others who were in my life, my pastor back then and others, to get my high school diploma, because as I said, I landed myself in prison going into the 11th grade. And I was at City. I wasn't, academics wasn't my issue. Poor choices was my issue. So I went about that path of getting my high school diploma, resuming my education, and the biggest issue was aligning God's purpose for my life with who I was and not with what I had been through. I grew up in Lexington Terrace Housing Project, and I jumped in with both feet very young to everything that you've heard or seen on the wire, and that sort of thing kind of derailed me. And the biggest issue to getting to the place that I am now as a younger person or young adult was realizing that when people saw my potential, I had to figure out a way to see it myself. I had to realize that there was something different. I remember, and I always tell this story to young people, I was going to the church that I'm now the pastor of, and one of the elders at the church at the time said, Marvin, me and my wife want to do something for you. I just wanted to, kind of change it up. So I went to the thrift store. I got this black vest and these black pants and got me like 3 dress shirts. I just wanted to look different. I remember going in there with jeans and stuff, and I just wanted to look different. And he took me up to Value City, that's still right up in Westview up there, back when it wasn't just a furniture store. And him and his wife blessed me with 2 suits, 2 shirts, and 2 ties. And I looked at myself in the mirror while we were there, and it completely changed my life to see myself dressed that way. Like, you never really know when a person comes from a certain background and setting. We talk about rehabilitation. Sometimes a lot of it is habilitation. And I had a decent household I came from. I just jumped into everything in my community, and simple things like somebody wanting to take the time to dress me differently, which was something I couldn't afford to do for myself, helped set me on a path to a life that I never thought I'd be able to live. So it was really just aligning myself with God's purpose and the amazing people that he put in my life, and being able to see what they saw in me. And I'm grateful that I had those people in my life.
Wow, thank you. If we can have Talia, and then Greg.
So I'm still learning as far as what career path I want to take. Originally, when I first got out of high school, no, let me rewind. So in high school, my 12th grade year, I was introduced to a program called Urban Alliance. So with that, that kind of helped me understand, okay, so this is something that I would be interested in moving forward. And also they help you with researching for college and everything. So then I went to Morgan State University. But as far as the academics, I'm not going to lie, I was distracted by the whole college atmosphere. I wasn't a party goer, no. I was just distracted. So I had to find out what else is more, what else is for me. So then I went to the Year Up program. And I was one of those people who were in my own way. Like, I don't like this, I want to try this, but this is stopping me. And again, I had to get over myself. And now I'm currently working at MedStar Health, so I'm still learning. Like I said, it's a process. I'm only 22 years old. So it's still room for growth, and I'm still right now doing more research as to how to get certifications in graphic communications, culinary, different programs to help me add skills under my belt so that when I do find what I want to do in life, I can be the bomb at it. That's it.
Thanks, Talia. I will say that for me, it was, so I graduated from college with a communications degree and became an editor. And to make a long story short, after a bunch of years doing that work in DC, I was really pretty depressed and just kind of felt like I had lost my way. I didn't have a lot of light going on in my community and didn't have a lot of friends down there. And really what I think I'm blessed to have just a great family and great mentors and friends, and through their coaching and counseling, they really encouraged me to just dream big and think outside the box, and just to realize that I don't know what I don't know. So again, I had to get out of my own way and just look for new experiences that would help guide me in a different path. And that led me to the Peace Corps, and I had a really profound experience in the Peace Corps in Peru. And then you're encouraged in the Peace Corps to bring your service home. So that actually brought me into a wonderful program in Baltimore called the Choice Program. So I worked with the Choice Program as an AmeriCorps volunteer for a year. And what I really learned through both the Peace Corps and through AmeriCorps was just that I thrive when I'm in community with others and when I'm part of something bigger than myself. And I think that's what I was missing in my 20s. That's what had kind of made me depressed in my 20s, was I wasn't part of a community. And I just feel very blessed to be part of the Baltimore community now. And I've learned through those service experiences that I love working with young people, and I love just being part of this great community in Baltimore. So Baltimore's home now, and I'm here for good. I love it here. So it's really nice to be just in a city that's so warm and welcoming and just beautiful as this place is.
Thank you. And we'll have Angela, and then double down to Erica.
I wish I could tell you guys it was this, that it was a wonderful road for me, but in all honesty, I didn't have any mentors. I had a tough mother. I was bullied when I won the science fair at Pimlico when I was in junior high school. The kids hated me, and they threw rocks at me and everything. And academics was not supposed to be our friend at the time, being in the urban environment in Park Heights. So I spent a lot of years dumbing myself down out of shame because of that situation. And believe it or not, it lasted a very, very long time. Even in college, I wouldn't tell people that I had a degree in both accounting and economics because, you know, that would be too much for a brown girl. But when I got to the Hubble Space Telescope program, I had one director and he says, I like what you do. He said, tell me more. And he said, you're sitting in that corner and you know all this? And I was like, well, doesn't everybody? And he was like, no, everybody doesn't. Within 3 days, he gave me a packet to 3 graduate schools. And he says, I need you to bridge this business language and this tech knowledge. That was the first time in my entire life that someone said, it's okay for you to be a smart brown girl. And in between all that, I stumbled, made mistakes. I was not exposed to some of the things that other folks got through mentorship programs coming straight. I mean, when I say out of Baltimore, I'm saying Arlington Elementary, Denmore, Park Heights, Belvedere, you name it, I was there for it. So my road was not one full of mentorships and people taking me in and taking an interest in me. I learned it the hard way, but my mother was tough. She said, one way or the other, you're going to school and you're going to learn it. You'll figure out the rest later. And I continued to stumble back and forth. No matter how many times I got away from technology, it came right back and it came right back and it came right back. And that's when I said, you know what? I want, and I told Shanae and her team this years ago, I want to make sure other students, urban students like myself, are exposed to know that, yes, you can read Forbes. You can know what the Dow is talking about. You can, technology is not that hard. You do it every time on your phones. You can do that. And it became very important to me because it was a matter of exposure and a matter of knowing reading is okay. It's okay for you to read. When my grandmother died at 93, she says, honey, don't let people know you can read. And I said, grandmother, I think it's a little too late. I have a master's degree. She says, well, then just hum. So in my road to acquire this wealth of knowledge and to acquire this wealth of experience, I like to say thank you to people like Denzel Washington, who says failing successfully is a good thing. You can feel forward, and I enjoy that because had I not had these experiences, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it and hear all of you today. So I am very pleased that my road was that hard.
Oh, Miss Shanae, you put me right after my mom. I don't know what to say. Okay. So you guys heard my mom's story. So, and my grandmother. So I grew up in a very matriarch, all independent Black women. Not that many men around, but a lot of strong Black women. So I think the hardest part for me was leaving home. I went to North Carolina A&T, so that was a big deal, was leaving home. Going to all predominantly Black schools growing up, and you go to an all Black college. And then when you graduate is where the hard part hit, because you're not surrounded by your community anymore. You're surrounded by the world. So everywhere you go, you're not with people that have the same morals as you or have the same mindset as you or grew up with the same things as you. So you lack exposure. I didn't have as much exposure to other races and how other people think. And then I joined the military, and I'm the only Black officer here at this unit, not in the whole Coast Guard, just at this unit. So I think the hardest part for me was assimilating to cultures that aren't my own, especially military culture. It's not impossible because people have done it before me, but I think exposure to other races and mindsets and diversity is very hard. When you're grown up as a minority, but you feel like you're a majority because all you see is yourself everywhere. And then you realize that you're actually the one. And if you fail, the next person that comes behind you, they're labeled because you failed. And if you succeed for everybody. So it's a lot of weight to carry, but you learn how to carry that weight because you know you represent more than yourself. And in the military, I do. So I think that's the biggest thing for me and my hardest challenge. School was okay, but my mom is really smart. So I had to get like really good grades to prove that I was smart too. But yeah, those are my challenges that I'm still going through right now.
I love it. And I was not going to reveal that you guys, although you have the same last name, that you guys were a dynamic duo, but I'm grateful that you mentioned that, because as a mom, I think that was such a pivotal, like, just comment to make. Okay, guys, in the interest of time, I'm going to combine these next two questions. You can either touch on both of them at the same time or answer one or both, because I think that this is something that our students can really benefit from hearing. So the first part of the question is, how can I, as a student, begin to prepare now in high school to be successful in your program or in another program? So how can I start preparing now? And then the other question that you can kind of either combine with it or answer one or the other is, if I'm not interested in college at all when I graduate from high school, what are some of my options? So I know that those are like two broad concepts, but I didn't want to leave either one out. So if you can kind of touch on both really quickly or one or the other, that would be great. And not to put you on the spot, Erica, but I'm going to start with you and then I'm going to jump over to Nigel.
So I'm going to share the screen just for all the high school students. This is a website. I think I know how to share the screen. 1 second. One second. Okay. For all the high school students, if you do decide that, I think it was 64% of you want to go to college. Can everybody see the screen, by the way? Can you see it?
I'm not able to see anything. It says you're sharing the screen, but it looks black.
But you can send it to Shanae.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Well, so the Coast Guard has a scholarship program for all students that go to historically Black colleges or Hispanic serving institutions. So for this scholarship program, you have to be a sophomore or a junior at a HBCU or Hispanic serving institution. Once you apply for this scholarship, you do a medical exam, just a physical test. You have to take an ASVAB test, which is like SAT. So right now you can start preparing to have a pretty good score on your SATs, doesn't have to be super high. Once you decide to go to college and you apply for the scholarship that I did, the Coast Guard will pay up to 2 years of your tuition, your junior and senior year. They pay for mine. That includes tuition, books, housing, meals, etc. And then when you graduate, you go to officer candidate school and you're groomed to become a Coast Guard officer. And your commitment is 3 years. And then you can become a veteran and retire. And you will have the post 9/11 GI Bill, which will pay for your grad school as well. So if those are opportunities you look for, you can contact me at any time. I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can find it, and I will help you develop your package and prepare if that's what you want to look forward to doing.
Hi, I'm going to answer both questions because it just flows right into each other. First thing is to talk to as many people as possible. One of the amazing things about just human beings are we're always willing to kind of share our resources, share our knowledge, and share our support. So whatever you have an interest in right now, if it's engineering, if it's graphic design, if it's food insecurity, or even like becoming a farmer, there's someone out there that you can simply email and say, hey, I'm a young positive person. Can I talk to you for a second? And they would love to share their knowledge and pour into you. Then that kind of leads into the second question. If college is not for you, once again, by having like mentors and finding out different areas that spark your interest, you can figure out different paths, right? So for Baltimore Core, for example, we run an entrepreneurial program where we specifically look for people from Baltimore who have a social entrepreneurial idea, right? Like a business idea that's going to help the city. And we focus on Black and brown people from Baltimore to do this. And what makes this program so special is the fact that you can come to us with just a business napkin idea, just a seed of a thought in your head, right? It doesn't have to be thought out 20 pages business plan, and we work with you. We give you $10,000 to try to figure out how to do this. You just have to be 18 years of age. Second thing is our Public Allies program. I love that program because that helps you also figure out where you want to end up in the social impact sector. 10 months, right? We give you a stipend of $16,000 broken up into 10 months. And you get to work in like a large foundation or a city agency or even a small grassroots organization. So you can figure out what you like and what you don't like. And by the way, at the end of the 10 months, you get an educational grant for $6,500 that could be applied to a 4-year university, 2-year university, trade school, or however you want, or even learning certificates, right? So there are options. Just grow your network now. Talk to people. Yeah.
Thank you. I hope you guys are taking notes because I'm sitting here, I'm like, why wasn't I taking notes? You guys are awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna swing it over to Roland and then hit up Greg.
I appreciate it. So there's a couple of things. The first, if you're interested in construction jobs, ABC, Association of Builders and Contractors, has a pathways program and will map out specific things that you need to do in order to get an entry-level job in the construction field. And that's one of the fields that as you get experience and continue your education, it may not have to be through college, you can grow. And I know that JTOF, Jobs Task Force, Jobs Opportunity Task Force, they also have a construction career program. If you're interested in farm tech or being a certified nursing assistant, a CNA, there's an organization called the Caroline Center, which is over in East Baltimore in the IND complex. And what they'll do is they will train you and help you start your careers in CNA. Now, I represent an organization called Empower. And with Empower, what we're looking for are young people, we call them opportunity youth, that are 18 and 24 years of age. And they're interested in tech jobs, jobs that require a device, jobs that may be like help desk, but then also if you're interested in coding, if you're interested in cybersecurity, this is a pathway for you. It's a non-traditional path. You don't have to have a college degree because we'll train you and you'll earn a certificate. And that certificate or certification, rather, it could be an A+ cybersecurity, network plus. It's industry recognized certifications that say, I may not have a college degree, but I know my stuff. And knowledge is power. So as long as people have confidence in your ability to deliver, they'll hire you. The second thing is I would also encourage you to look at the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. I know we have the MOED representatives on the phone. There are a lot of resources, a lot of pathways. If you're a junior or senior, please look into the YouthWorks program for the summer. I was a summer mentor this year and had an opportunity to coach and develop our young people on a daily basis. We work to prepare you to go into the workforce because it's not just what you know, it's how you present yourself. So those soft skills are important. And it's something that as rising young adults, you gotta be aware that your attitude, the persona that you're projecting carries a lot of weight. People will work with you if they know that they can trust you and they like you and they feel as though you'll add value. So, again, I'll highlight those again in the chat window. Adeniki has captured them. But with Empower, we recruit twice a year. We have a class that starts in July and we have a class that starts in February. It's a 6-month program, 6 months for training and an internship. And we also just recently launched an apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program is unique because it's part of the Department of Labor. It's a certified apprenticeship program. That means as you're working, you're learning on the job and we're paying you. And as you hit milestones, your pay increases. You're a full-time employee, you're an employee of record. You'll get benefits at the completion of your apprenticeship program, but this is a way to enter into the workforce and learn and develop. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about those programs.
Hey, everybody. So yeah, I wanted to just piggyback a little bit on some of what Nigel said and also what Roland said. I think, Nigel, that point about asking questions is just really huge. So I would say just for the first part of the question, for grads to careers, what you can do now to prepare. We encourage any student who is interested in just learning more about options to fill out our application. It's at, I'll put the link in the chat and my phone number in a moment. But the link is really just an opportunity to fill out the application. And at Grads to Careers, we're all about networking and about building relationships. So we work with a number of really wonderful career training options around the city, including NPower and Code in Schools for information technology options, and CCBC and BCCC for a lot of healthcare options. So we work with organizations like Urban Alliance to do their land surveyors program, with Civic Works to do construction. And I think the really cool thing about Grads to Careers is that what we hope to be is just an opportunity to help you build relationships and to dig for more information. So the number one thing I would say is just keep digging and keep asking questions. And I really view my role in the district as it's just kind of a linker to, I hope, to all these people on the call today too, so that if you sign up for Grads to Careers and you decide that it's not for you, that one of the people in our network will continue to be an advocate with you and to answer your questions, so that you land in that really positive next role for you. So just if there's one takeaway for Grads to Careers, I would say that we're constantly expanding our network of options and constantly trying to just really offer more exposure to all the really, really great career training programs that we have in the city, and that we have staff who are always around to talk to you. If you're confused at any point in the process, we try to be as accessible as possible and really just focus on that bedrock of relationship. So I'm always accessible. You can text me or call me anytime. Usually Monday through Friday is the best to hit me up, but I'm always available. I'm talking to students all day. And I just love being in relationships with these wonderful programs, because I've worked with Roland before and worked with Marvin before, and I hope to work with Nigel. And it's just, I think there's so many wonderful opportunities in the city, and it's all about knitting together these relationships and building your professional network. So reach out to us, and I'll put the application in the chat. And just thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you. We're going to do quickly Angela, Talea, and we're going to bring it on home with Marvin. We do have a question and answer period, and we do want to make sure that in the interest of time, we give students an opportunity to ask questions. So if we can kind of like give a concise response, because we really want students to be able to ask you guys questions, because you guys are a wealth of knowledge.
Well, to make it quick, I'm sorry, Shanae, would you like me to go first? It's Angela.
Yes, please.
Okay, to make it really quick and sweet for myself, the soft skills matter. Soft skills matter, like our other panelists, and I say that and I support that, because sometimes in our communities, we are not developing those very, very important soft skills. But coming out of high school, project management, I will work with you or anyone I can, because there are opportunities for high school graduates within the project management field in seeking certification. And I think that will definitely be an inroad to a very sustainable income going forward, as well as building on some of the skills that they already have, tech skills coming out of high school. I think project management is huge. It crosses many, many industries, hospitals, hospitality, construction, even teaching, because I use it a lot when I'm working with individuals as well. So I will say the soft skills are definitely what's needed, and that there are opportunities in project management for high school graduates. I think I got you, Shanae. Those are the two questions. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Because exposure, I'm telling you guys, exposure, some of our kids, we just don't know outside of our 6-block radius. Well, it was 4 blocks when I was a kid, it's 6 blocks now.
Thank you. Talea?
Okay, so one thing that I would say how you can prepare, stay aware. A lot, what I've noticed as I graduated 2016, we don't always have the resources or the knowledge of the resources that are available in Baltimore City. A lot of schools won't inform you as far as what's out there for you after high school, what's needed. One thing I can say, make sure your GPA is on point, because you are in a field with other individuals. It's like a competition. When you go to college, they look at your GPA scores. When you get into certain programs, they look at your GPA. And also, as far as other programs, you have apprenticeships, you have internships, you have the service, you have job corps, you have so many things out there to your knowledge. Just make sure you stay in tune with your mentors, your advisors, everyone. as far as you're in high school. So any adult who really cares will be more than willing to give you information so that you can move forward in life.
So it's going to might sound like I'm echoing a lot of what already has been said, but for me, it's really simple. And I want every young person that's listening to write down this term and hold on to it. Build social capital. Build social capital. Literally, even as I look at this, I see Nigel, I see Roland, I see Gregory, I see people on here who even in my job has been keys to the success that I'm able to have serving others. And I told you my life's testimony is where I thought that I wasn't going to be able to do much, but maybe a factory job or whatever I could get my hands on. It's been the relationships that are in my life. And I'm going to tell you what's real. Baltimore's a relationship town. I got people that have doctorate degrees that's got to come through me to crack the bubble to get a job because I have the relationships. When they used to say it's not what you know, it's who you know, that's probably no more real than it is in Baltimore. And looking at Nigel, Roland, and Gregory and what those relationships in my particular field at Westside Youth Opportunity Center has led to for some of my young people, I'm going to tell you, it's all about social capital. Do all the other stuff. It's a blanket answer for both, whether you choose to go to college or whether you choose not to go to college. You only going to be as successful as your Rolodex or your telephone book or your contact list in your phone. I got to remember, we talking to young people. You're only going to be as successful as your contact list in your phone. As a job developer right now, which is my job is job placement, I have employers that I can call today and get you an interview tomorrow because of relationships. I don't care how talented you are, how smart you are, what degree you have, without the right relationships, you will have all kinds of trouble navigating the waters towards career success. So build social capital. Whenever you go somewhere, whether it's with mentors, whether it's an internship, anywhere you go, build that relationship, write that name down, put it in your contact list, in your Rolodex, hold on to it, because I promise you somewhere along the line, that very relationship can be the key to a door opening for you that you wouldn't otherwise know how to get open.
Thank you so much, Marvin. And as the young people say, that's like a mic drop. It was an excellent way to kind of end this segment. I'd like to throw this back to Shamara, who's going to open it up for questions and answers. Thank you so much to our panelists. You guys did a phenomenal job. I feel like my capacity has grown and expanded just in this hour. So I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. This conversation has been very fulfilling and rewarding. I just would like to give a shameless plug. Marvin, I too am from Lexington Terrace, but also alum of University of Baltimore and Morgan State University. So I wholeheartedly appreciate this conversation, just being a brown girl from West Baltimore. And I'm glad that we're able to bring this to our students. I just we have a few quick questions. Wanted to flag one from our students here. If this student says, I plan on being a CEO of my own gaming company, but I envision my plans, not write or draw it so much in my portfolios is not my thing. So what is a good start from my future? Does anyone have like a quick 20 or 30 second response to this? Feel free to jump in.
I would say be willing to go into places where this is already happening. And one of the lost arts in career building is volunteering. Be willing to offer your time in exchange for information. If everybody wants to get a paycheck, and I want you to be able to get a paycheck, but when you're talking about kind of stepping into exclusive fields, something like gaming, again, you'll go in there, you'll volunteer your time in exchange for information, and you'll build relationships that may even help you launch your own product when the time comes.
I'd like to piggyback off of that. If there is a magazine or a book or something that all gamers use or consider their gaming Bible, what have you, read that, continue to read that, and read it to not only expand yourself, but sometimes they have information in the back of it that can be the road to where you want to go. We tend to gloss over those pages, or we don't tend to expand ourselves to creatively think through reading. but gaming is one of those creative opportunities. And I would suggest pick that particular magazine of where you want to go. And this is in any career field, that particular thing, read it from cover to cover as often as you can, and you'll find your opportunity. It will grow on you and you will grow into it.
Mhm.
Thank
So
you, Marvin and Angela. Oh, Roland, you wanted to add to that?
yeah, just quickly, I was going to just on top of what Angela said, do your research, understand what the skills are that you need to do or the skills you need to have for that industry to be successful as a gamer. And then surround yourself with some mentors that can help give you advice, people that own businesses, because to be an entrepreneur, it's a whole different skill set and a lot of self-sacrifice. So do your homework and be prepared and have a plan.
Okay, I have two more questions. One of the questions, this is from an educator at Independence as well as Western. And I know you all work at many different organizations and provide a lot of different services, but what are good careers for students with learning disabilities? Does any of your organizations support students or have resources for students with learning disabilities?
There are some organizations that specialize in that sort of thing, such as Doors. And I always tell people when they can go to the experts. But I think what we need to do, especially for those who are still working in the high school level, is when you recognize this, start pushing vocational assessments and other things. People with learning disabilities are just as talented as other people. They just may not be as fluent in the classroom. And I've had young people literally come through my program that will never sit and pass the GED test, but they work in somewhere gainfully employed in a place where even with them being great at what they do on the job, it can lead to advancement and promotion. I think that's one of the failings of our school systems here in Maryland is that we don't do enough on the side of vocational preparation, understanding, and vocational development in our young people before they get to high school. But I believe the same thing about soft skills, resume prep, and some of the other things, just because of what I encounter when they come to us. But I think that if we lean more towards that, keeping my answer short, there's Doors, programs like that. But if we have the privilege of working with them, lean more towards vocational assessments, find out areas of interest, what talent that they have that may not be the classroom. And I guarantee you, you'll find what we used to call their niche, and they'll be successful.
Thank you. And one of the last questions that we have, it says, do you have any insight on engineering programs or any advice to give to anyone who might be interested in that career?
So for engineering programs, and I'm assuming this is outside of a college pathway, I would take a look at the Job Opportunities Task Force program. And I would also suggest you look at the Pathways program with the Association of Builders and Contractors. The pathways will map out exactly what you need to do from high school to non-traditional or through college. But the pathways, there's a magazine, there's a website, it maps it out.
Thank you, Mr. Selby. Does anyone else have any questions before we wrap this up, or else I'll hand it over to the Work-Based Learning Manager at Anike.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This was like so amazing. And it's a Friday the 13th, and I was like nervous, and you guys all killed it. And I'm so excited about the number of students and instructors that were able to join us today. Thank you so much. In the chat, I put the link to sign up for next month's CTE Friday, which is going to focus on green careers, as well as a link to give us feedback on today's session. Let us know what you thought, some of your takeaways, how we can support you in connecting with some of our panelists and speakers and getting you resources, as well as what you would like to see for future CTE Fridays. I want to thank our panelists again. I want to thank all of our students and instructors. I want to wish you guys an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shamir. Thank you, Shanae. Thank you, all of our panelists again, and have a good one.